In an age where national identity is often treated as natural, even sacred, the philosophy of Max Stirner offers a challenge. Writing in The Unique in Its Property, Stirner launched a relentless attack on all forms of collective abstraction that claim authority over the individual. His philosophy of egoism does not merely question nationalism, it dissolves its foundations. From this perspective, the nation is not an enduring reality, but a powerful idea that individuals have learned to obey as though it were real. Stirner's philosophy begins with a stark claim: only the individual exists concretely. Concepts such as society, humanity, or the nation are intellectual constructions. They are tools created by people, yet over time they come to dominate their creators. He called such dominating abstractions spooks, ideas that hover over human life, treated as sacred despite lacking any physical existence. Religion, in his view, was once the primary spook of Western culture. Modern politics, however, replaced God with new sacred entities, such as the state, morality, and most significantly, the nation. Nationalism, therefore, is not really a break from religious thinking, but its continuation. Nationalist rhetoric closely mirrors theological language. Citizens are told they belong to something greater than themselves. The nation is described as immortal, dignified, and worthy of sacrifice. Its symbols are revered, its history mythologized, its survival treated as a moral imperative. For Stirner, this is simply sanctification under a different name. Just as religion demands devotion to an unseen deity, nationalism demands devotion to an imagined collective. The believer in God asks, what does God will? The nationalist asks, what does my country require of me? In both cases, the individual defers to an abstraction. National identity is often framed as something discovered rather than created, as though language, culture, and shared history naturally bind people into a unified whole. A Stirnerian analysis rejects this narrative. Language is learnt, traditions are inherited, borders are drawn through political processes. None of these possess inherent authority over the individual unless individuals choose to grant it. To define oneself primarily through nationality is, in this view, to accept a ready-made identity in place of an authentic, self-created one. The person becomes a representative of a category rather than a unique being. This is what Stirner described as a form of possession, being possessed by ideas and external abstractions. Probably the most powerful feature of nationalism is its ability to moralize sacrifice. Individuals are encouraged to fight, work, and even die for the nation. Such acts are praised as the highest expression of virtue. Yet only individuals experience consequences. The supposed beneficiary, the nation, is an abstraction that exists only in minds and institutions. Egoism exposes this dynamic by asking a disarmingly simple question: who actually gains from the sacrifice? The answer is the entity of the nation invoked to justify it, never truly individuals. National identity does not sustain itself spontaneously, it is cultivated. Education systems teach national narratives, governments regulate citizenship. Public rituals reinforce shared belonging. Through repetition, the idea of the nation acquires the appearance of inevitability. From a Stirnerian standpoint, this reveals nationalism as less an organic bond than a political technology, one that organizes populations by encouraging them to internalize collective obligations. People are policed and ruled not necessarily because they are coerced at every moment, but because they believe they owe loyalty to something that is placed above them. Stirner did not reject cooperation or community. What he rejected was the transformation of cooperation into duty. In place of the nation, he imagined voluntary associations grounded in mutual benefit rather than moral obligation, the union of egoists. Such relationships would remain flexible, dissolving when they no longer serve those involved. They would not demand lifelong allegiance, heroic sacrifice, or identity level commitment. They would exist because individuals actively sustain them, not because tradition or ideology declares them permanent. This model replaces belonging with participation, loyalty with choice. Max Stirner's egoism does not require abandoning culture, language, or shared life. It asks only that these be treated as personal engagements rather than sacred inheritances. One may enjoy traditions without venerating them. One may collaborate politically without mythologizing the collective. One may value a place without calling it destiny. Identity in this light becomes something one uses rather than something that owns the individual. Nationalism derives much of its force from appearing timeless and self-evident. Stirner's egoism strips away that appearance, revealing the nation as an idea that is ultimately constructed, one that commands only the authority individuals grant it. By challenging us to place the living self above abstract collectives, Stirner forces a provocative reconsideration whether devotion to the nation is an expression of freedom or a subtle form of self-renunciation. His answer is clear. The individual is not born to serve ideas. Ideas can be used, and when necessary, discarded. Nations are unjustified sanctifications of the abstract, structures that demand reverence without reciprocity, and they are unravelled when people cease to believe that they are owned by them.